With Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 49 now officially in the history books, as we await Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 50 later on this month, we've learned that following Porunga being summoned and having one of his most desired wishes granted, which ultimately was to have his full magic be restored, there was a secret third wish that Moro had made that, even while at a disadvantage against both Goku and Vegeta now, doesn't seem to be worried due to the effects in which this wish may have going forward in the Dragon Ball Super story. As a few weeks ago we tackled and covered one of many concepts and ideas that Moro could have wished for, which also covered the topic of immortality, so if you happen to have missed out on that video, then be sure to go on ahead and check it out down in the description box below, as on this video we're going to be covering the premise of other concepts and ideas which involve Moro possibly affecting Goku and Vegeta in such a way to perhaps maybe their godly abilities are no longer going to be useful. As once more before we begin, if you are new to this channel and have a love and passion for all things anime and Dragon Ball, then be sure to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single upload. As of course, if you love Dragon Ball and cannot wait for more, including the upcoming manga chapter dropping later on this month, then be sure to go on ahead and slap a big fat like down below by giving this video a big thumbs up. As when we take a look back as to what unfolded in Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 49, after further learning about the Daikaio having his god power split based on Majin Buu having to separate himself into two separate entities, one being good and one being evil, many fans within the community are now suggesting the idea that the concept of Uub, after having to be reincarnated in Dragon Ball Super, which Uub had been mentioned multiple times in both the anime and the manga, not directly by name but simply going based off of the reference of Kid Buu having to be reincarnated, are people coming up with the idea that the Daikaio is now going to need the assistance of Uub to take down Moro, which I'm here to tell you that's simply not the case. Number one, at this current point in time, Uub is still an adolescent, he's still a child. Number two, Uub is very much so inexperienced, and in a direct battle against Moro, Uub would get utterly massacred on the battlefield if by some chance they were to introduce him. And number three, with Uub having to be very fresh off the gate, one can make the assumption that he still doesn't know how to tap into this power, not unless Goku trains him. So by no means in any conceivable circumstance, if you're expecting to see Uub versus Moro at some point in the Dragon Ball Super manga, it's simply not going to happen. However, it was stated by Vegeta after Moros had asked the Saiyans whether or not they're capable of stopping Moro. Vegeta went along to agree that at least one full-powered Super Saiyan Blue should be enough to defeat Moro if they were to somehow bring Moro back to New Planet Namek and keep him on the ground. But we've learned after Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 49, even when bringing Moro back down to Planet Namek and being confronted by Goku and Vegeta, he once more went along to remind them that he still went along and made a third wish. And with that having to be taken into consideration, one must wonder if Moro knows that his magic is enough to counteract whatever Goku and Vegeta are capable of, then what exactly did he wish for that makes him so confident in his ability that even he knows, after everything he's experienced and seen with the Saiyans, that he would still somehow have the advantage against both of them, even after Vegeta went along to state that at least one of them, considering both Goku and or Vegeta, have the necessary power to destroy Moro if they kept him on the ground. As one of the ideas floating around in this entire situation would be that Moro's third possible wish, hence the word possible, could be to never have his magic be removed from his body. Unlike what we've seen before with the Daikaio being able to fully remove Moro's magic, which made him a shell of who he was even while locked up for 10 million years, why would Moro ever want to risk losing that again? Especially knowing the fact that he can be captured and he can be put away just as he did 10 million years ago. So I do believe that his overconfidence comes from the ability to maintain his magic no matter what happens. Even if you pay close attention to when the Daikaio got into position and was about to use that same technique again, Moro didn't seem to be that concerned. In fact, what Moro ended up doing instead was mocking the Daikaio and letting him know that he was weaker in comparison to how he was 10 million years ago, and that was all due to the end result of having his god power be split once initially Majin Buu tore himself into two separate entities. Which would make sense, especially if Goku and Vegeta plan on stopping Moro's magic by trying to influence that and removing that from him. I think that Moro knows that they know in order to beat him, they need to remove his magic, which is why I do think that Goku and Vegeta are going to try to either A, apprehend Moro and bringing him to justice by any means via having to capture him and bring him back to prison, or B, they're going to try to atomize him down to the very last cell by destroying him entirely during the course of this battle. But if Moro knows that either A, they're going to try to kill him, or B, they're going to try to capture him, why would he risk losing that very same magic that he's been itching to get for 10 million years if he knows it can in fact be taken away? So one of the many possibilities here could be the fact that Moro wished for his magic to remain permanently within his body. Would that only be one of the best course of actions here, or perhaps maybe his third wish was to simply strengthen his magic in comparison to what we've seen before? And if we know that Moro simply relies on his magic in order to gain the upper hand in a fight, then why would he ever want to be at a disadvantage when having to fight someone way more powerful than him, when he knows that his skill and ability in using his magic can get him the victory in any given circumstance? And with that, I am not alone in this conversation, as joining me to discuss the concept of Moro's third wish is my good friend and lead moderator on Discord, Danny Ray Champ. As Danny, we've discussed this so many times on Discord before, in both the ideas and concepts of what Moro could have wished for, and we've had so many debates, not only amongst ourselves, but amongst many of us on Discord, as so many people seem to be torn by the idea that perhaps maybe Moro had wished for immortality, perhaps Moro had wished for the resurrection of another person. So I wanted to get your thoughts as to what you truly believe Moro's third wish could have possibly had been, and on the grounds of immortality, on the grounds of having his magic be permanent to his body, to himself, what are your thoughts as to what Moro's third wish could have been, and how do you see this arc playing along, if you think that perhaps this wish is going to affect Dragon Ball in the long run, or if you think this is only going to be a momentary thing for this specific arc, and we're going to move on into something bigger and better once this is all over?
The last possible wish Moro could have made could have been immortality or invulnerability, but at the end of the day, I don't really see that doing anything for him, because that doesn't mean he can't have his power taken away again. It doesn't mean that at all. He could still have it taken away and he could be locked back up. End of story on that one. He could have wished for the ability to take away Goku and Vegeta's God Ki, but I really don't see that, because I feel like that would just be a hard stop to the plot of the manga, and as well as the anime if they decide to incorporate Moro. But at the end of the day, I just don't see how they would move forward past that point plot-wise. He could have wished for his power to no longer be able to be removed. I think that's a very real possibility. Even if Daikaio can't necessarily do the attack that, you know, can take away his power, I definitely think he would have done that as sort of a fail-safe. I mean, granted, in the manga, we did see him be like, oh, you can no longer do that, which was interesting, but he could have just been doing that just, you know, for flavor text to be like, oh, very interesting, you can no longer do that, huh? He could have wished for, you know, increase in the power of his magical abilities. I don't really see that, because we all know how the Dragon Balls work. The power or the scale of a wish is directly scaled to its creator's power. So I don't think Moro would have gotten that big of a boost from, you know, wishing for his abilities, the power of his abilities to be increased. The last thing I think that it could have been was complete knowledge of Goku and Vegeta's abilities, and I know that seems very weird, but in a panel we see Vegeta saying, oh, he can suppress his ki now. And that's very strange considering the fact that Moro is this wise old dark wizard dude. It's really weird that he wouldn't already have the knowledge of how to suppress his ki, so he could have wished to know, like, Goku and Vegeta's abilities, or the scope of their abilities, or the scope of Daikaio's abilities even. I think that's a very real possibility. But overall, at the end of the day, I think they're going to throw a big curveball at us. I don't think it's going to be anything I said. I think it's going to be something really weird and really strange, and it's going to be something that nobody guessed. And, you know, Dragon Ball somewhat at this point has gotten, you know, a bit iffy with the plot, where it's like, I personally have been able to call things out very easily, just using common sense. But this, I think it's going to be something really, really weird. In terms of, you know, what it affects, with Dragon Ball, stuff usually doesn't affect stuff down the road, at least from my memory. You know, I'm thinking of going all through Dragon Ball, and it's just like, nothing really affects the arc after it. At all, really. So, you know, unless they're going to do something with, oh, he took away their God Key and then Dragon Ball Super GT, I really don't see this in what's contained in this arc affecting what's going to come after it. That's not really the MO of Dragon Ball. I don't think that's ever really been done before. So no, I don't think anything that happens within the Moro arc is gonna affect what happens after the Moro arc.
See, I'm not entirely sure if Moro's wish is going to have a lasting effect on Dragon Ball as a whole going forward. I think that just like Thanos in the MCU, something needs to happen to where it affects Goku and Vegeta and perhaps many other people in the future of the story, just because you can always have a callback to what Moro did with this one specific wish, even though it's not as impactful as it would be if you used the Super Giant Dragon Balls. That would be something very different. But in the long run, do you see anything coming about in this situation to where Goku and Vegeta can use a tactical approach in holding him down to seal him away, or lock him up, or possibly even kill him if his magic has grown to be this powerful? Or do you think more or less they're still going to struggle as the story continues?
If it's a wish where it's like, oh, invulnerability, this, that, they could still take away his powers again and lock him back up. His powers are his entire thing. And if that's the case, then it's really just a matter of Goku doing a Raditz on Moro and just holding him in place while, you know, or Vegeta holding him in place while Goku and or Vegeta funnel their God energy into Daikaio and allowing him to utilize that ability that takes away Moro's magic, and they just lock him back up. But if it's something big, like something big and weird, then I could definitely see the arc dragging on. You know, a big climactic fight. Goku and Vegeta go away for a while, do some training, you know. We all love a good mid-arc training session. I could see that happening. I could honestly see both possibilities happening, but what I would personally want is, you know, I don't like things to drag on just to drag on. So I would rather them just have a decisive battle here and now and just end it and then move on to whatever's next, than having another 100-episode Frieza saga on our hands.
See, I'm not entirely sure if I would want this to end so quickly, because for me, I would love to see what Moro would do if he gets desperate, if he's in a situation to where Goku and Vegeta are both winning. I really want to see a villain present himself in such a way that it's different when we look at Dragon Ball, and I think that Moro definitely possesses those characteristics and traits in being one of the best villains in the entire franchise. But that all varies on the writing, that varies on the overall approach as to what he's going to do going forward in the story. But I think that with his wish, I don't think that he wished to be invincible or immortal. I think that's a little bit too cliche. But in the end, I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. What do you think Moro's third wish to Porunga was? Was it immortality? Was it something to strengthen his magic? Was it to open up a gateway or dimension to a different world? Was it to resurrect somebody? I want to get your thoughts and feedback in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Once more, if you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to go ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to never miss a single upload, along with slapping a big fat like down below onto this video if, of course, you guys cannot wait for Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter number 50 later on in the next 2 weeks, in which we are going to be covering on the channel in English, so make sure you guys tune back in for that. Let us know your thoughts on Moro and his agenda. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Once more, tune back in for the next video, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming.
Also follow UnrealEntGaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead! Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god.
The fuck's up? On, put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes. Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Frieza.
Uh-oh.
Prepare to die!